Hi, this is Sandy with Time and Tide, and welcome back. I decided today to do an oracle reading for the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine and what their individual situations are, and then what their combined situation is. So I went ahead and pulled some cards from several decks, and I thought we would go through them together. I didn't light the candle today because I have my grandkitty, and her name's Kit. She might jump up here, but I don't want her to get burned, so the candle's not lit today. So anyway, I used several decks, and let me tell you about the decks that I used. There aren't a lot of decks for men. So for the Divine Masculine, I'm using this deck called Gods and Titans. It's the only deck I could find that's specifically like male oriented. It's by Stacy DeMarco. And then for the women, the Divine Feminine Oracle by Megan Watterson. And then for both of them, I also wanted to pull an archetype card to see what archetype they're channeling. And these are by Carolyn, I guess that's Mice, or Mice, yeah, Mice. And then to look at their relationship collectively, I pulled a Whispers of Love card by, let's see, what is it, Angela Hartfield. So let me go ahead and just get into this, and what I'll do is just flip the cards over and read what it says about each card. Let's start with the Divine Masculine. I'll start with his card. Okay, that says, oh, I should show it to you. Vulcan. Wow, he looks serious. And it says inventiveness. Okay, Vulcan. Let's see what Vulcan. Vulcan, think outside the box and go for the most creative solution. Hold your emotions in check and think rationally. There was one God the ancient Romans valued above all others for his inventiveness and ingenuity, Vulcan. In his Greek embodiment, Hephaestus, I know that's his Greek name, yeah. He is both respected and courted by the other gods for his skills, yet scorned as well, for he was not perfect physically, as are the other gods. In fact, when Juno, Vulcan's mother, saw her son, she flung him from Olympus down to the island of Lemnos on Earth. It says the airport there today is called Hephaestus. Thetis, who was also eventually the mother of Achilles, raised him, and he invented the art of blacksmithing. There is nothing that Vulcan cannot make. His creativity and inventiveness abound. His crafts items that are not only beautiful but supremely practical. The winged boots of Mercury, the armor of Achilles, Sol's son chariot, the unbreakable chains that held poor Prometheus to his rock, and incredibly, the first woman, Pandora, also his divine handiwork. His intelligence and mastery shone when he tricked the rather unmotherly Juno not only into allowing him into her home, but also into granting him the hand of the most beautiful of goddesses, Venus. Vulcan never quite forgave his mother for her slight upon him as an infant. He made her a golden throne which was untouched in its artistry under the guise of a gift. Juno accepted it, how could she not? But as soon as she sat on it, mechanical coils sprang forth, trapping her in the chair. No matter how hard she tried, she could not free herself. The son she looked down on now had the upper hand and negotiated his return to Olympus with Venus as his wife. When you need to think outside the box, when you have run out of ideas, when you need to create something practical to solve a problem, Vulcan is your god. Celebrating or further developing your uniqueness and cognitive abilities are also Vulcan's traits. It is said that the Greeks have inherited our earth now. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the geeks have inherited our earth now. These are the people who use their minds and inventiveness rather than their force and brawn. Vulcan would appreciate this very much. He was a misfit and was literally cast out of Olympus, but he accepted who he was and found his place in the world. Should Vulcan step forward in your life today, using your rationality rather than your emotions to make decisions may be the way to go. And Vulcan has a shadow side of only using our head and never our heart is not the best path. Vulcan, for all his practicality and skill, was not lucky in love. Venus cheated him with hot-blooded Mars, partially due to Vulcan's coolness. Those who are different in some way are sometimes feared. Vulcan's appearance and his magical skills as a blacksmith made him difficult to understand for those who did not take the time to know him more deeply. Okay, so that's the divine masculine. And I don't know about your divine masculine, but that sounds exactly like my divine masculine. All mental and no heart. Okay, so let's see what the archetype that the divine masculine is manifesting. Detective. Oh, wow. What is this? Light attributes. The light attributes of the detective are great powers of observation and intuition, the desire to seek out the truth. Shadow attributes are voyeurism and falsifying information. So it looks like the divine masculine is rather dark right now. Let's see if there's anything special about the detective we need to know. The spy is associated with surreptitious acquisition of secret information regarding politics, business, or national security. The shadow detective manifests as voyeurism, falsifying information, or selling out to the highest bidder. Examine your passion for using your powers of observation to get at the truth. So, somebody's divine masculine may be a spy, a double agent, snooping, something like that. So, that's what the divine masculine is manifesting now. Doesn't sound too good. What's the divine feminine going for her? Let's see. Okay. Maya Bago, the warrior saint. Let me hold it over here. I am a warrior of love. My devotion attracts resources and support. Okay, so she's a warrior of love. Okay, well, that's good. And she attracts resources and support. Well, resources are good. Okay, let's see what she has. Maya Bucko. And that's why I should look this stuff up ahead of time. 134, sorry about that. Here we go. Okay. Maya Bago represents the otherworldly courage and resourcefulness that comes with deep devotion and commitment. Maya Bago, I don't know how you pronounce her name, but I'm going to go with that, was born in the 17th century in what is now Amritsar, Punjab, at the same time as the 10th Guru Gobind Singh. She was raised a devout Sikh and was trained by her father to use a sword so that she could uphold the Sikh tenet to defend but not attack. When she was a young woman, her village was threatened by Mughal forces. She heard that the Khalsa, or the warrior saints appointed by the Guru to defend the Sikhs, had defected and were fleeing back to their villages. Ma Bago took her sword and went village to village, convincing the warrior saints to go back and protect the Guru from the advancing Mughal army. She gathered 40 men to fight with her, and on December 29, 1705, the small, courageous band of Sikh warriors rushed out to protect the legacy of their religion in the Battle of Muktsar with Ma Bago as their leader. Ma was the only one to survive. Guru Gobind Singh blessed those 40 men and declared them Chali Mukta, the 40 liberated ones. Ma became the guru's personal bodyguard and dressed in men's attire until she retired and spent her last years immersed in meditation. Ma Bego is considered a great Sikh warrior saint. The house where she spent her last years in meditation has been converted to a Gurdwana, a Sikh place of worship. Her sword and musket are on display as saint relics and as symbols of the fierce courage Ma displayed out of her devotion to the Guru. She saved the Sikh region from extinction. Wow, okay. I don't... really screwed up those names. Sorry about that. So, when your soul selects this card, devotion grounds us and allows us to see just how many resources are available to us, and devotion elevates our perception so that the spiritual realm can infuse us with light, strength, and energy that is greater than our own. Devotion is the action we feel compelled to take that demonstrates our commitment to love. The power of Ma Bego's devotion kept the Sikh religion alive. The task seemed impossible, 40 Sikhs against a whole Mughal army. But what has never happened before becomes possible through true devotion and the force of pure love. Ma is the warrior saint who reminds us to become fully devoted to what we love. Then courage isn't an effort. It isn't something we have to cultivate. Courage is what commitment to love bestows to us. Devote yourself fully to what's at hand, to what is in your heart, and the strength, the support, and the courage to complete the task will rise to meet you. Oh, wow. I like that. Okay, so that's the Divine Feminine card. Now let's see what her archetype is. Archetype, servant. Well, that's probably kind of applicable to this. Servant, the light attribute of the servant is delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. That sounds like our goddess. The shadow attribute, however, is using the lack of money as an excuse to not move forward with life. Okay, so that's the servant. So that's the archetype that the Divine Feminine is dealing with right now. And let me see if there's anything that the servant engages aspects of the psyche that call us to make ourselves available to others for the benefit and enhancement of their lives. So this is about them and not you. It may include spiritual service to the divine or to other people. This is sounding more like our goddess. Indentured servant sees oneself bound by condition of service, not of one's choosing, because of an inability to buy one's freedom or symbolically come into one's own power. That's somebody, you may even feel like an indentured servant at work. I know I sometimes do. I feel like I have to be there because of my job. I love my job sometimes, but I don't want to have to be there. If making choices that serve your highest potential is a substantial personal issue for you, then consider this archetype for your support team. Okay. Now, the combined... Okay, hold on. Let me move this forward. The combined... the situation between the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. Embrace your emotions. Don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions. Okay. So we have the Divine Masculine who's being cold. And we have the Divine Feminine who's feels like a servant and feels the need to serve others. That sounds about right. That sounds about my life anyway. Feelings and emotions are part of who you are. Allow yourself to feel what is going on for you. Your feelings signal you to the truth of a situation. Take positive steps to determine why you are feeling the way that you feel. So that's pretty deep. So probably most of the people watching this are Divine Feminines. I know mostly women watch these videos. And if you are dealing with a divine masculine like this, it's hard to show your emotions to a man that is cold and intellectual, and all about work. And even when you do, they often don't really care that much. Men are not that aren't that swayed by emotional words. You can embrace your emotions, but often the best thing to do is after you've told them, walk away. I would say don't be this servant. Don't be his servant. You can serve yourself, you can serve others, but don't be his servant, because that's the one thing that will keep him being just like that. The only thing that makes men listen is when you walk away. And I have learned that, unfortunately, the hard way. So I hope you all have a good evening, and I will be back tomorrow. Good luck.